really careful with this awl so I don't pierce anything I don't want to pierce. Okay. And I can just work that a little further out. All right. That should do it. That should do it. And then that'll be the first pocket done. Until a couple of days ago, I would wonder I like why only little parts of my VODs would get muted when I'm playing music the whole time. And what I determined, my current hypothesis anyway, is that the music is so low sometimes that it doesn't really get picked up reliably. And it's at just low enough of a bandwidth that it doesn't, it's hard to make a consistent ID on it. Probably not the best thing from a listener's perspective. Okay. So I'm gonna backstitch. Hey, what's up? How you doing, Babe Ross? Thank you very, very much for the sub. Welcome in. I am doing just lovely here in the workshop. Babe Ross is one of my very favorite streamers and an incredibly skilled and talented painter. And an incredibly skilled and talented streamer as well. Always a great time in that stream. Asus, hello, yes. Asus and I were just talking shop about epoxy and electrical stuff, and yeah. So here, let me. I'm just gonna finish this stitching line, and then I'll show you what we're working with from all the angles and everything. I'm trying to do something new here a little bit. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that's looking good. I knew this black on burgundy for the outline with the stitching was gonna pop pretty nicely. There we go. Okay, so what I'm doing, I used to tie stuff off when saddle stitching. I used to tie stuff off and then like melt down the knot on the surface. And that works. It's not particularly refined. What I've been doing more recently is when there's two layers of leather that I'm stitching together, back stitch one stitch and then hide the needle or hide the thread between the layers of leather. So put the needle in one hole but not out the other, and then tie the two tails off on the inside of the piece. Yeah, this leather is really, really nice. This is one of my favorites to work with. I discovered this leather for another Anti-Sasquatch commission. She wanted journals in burgundy and blue as gifts for her nephews. I call the journals. I've been calling the journals that I make with pockets with this type of leather nephew journals ever since. But she commissioned me for this like coordinated set, one with blue leather and burgundy stitching, and one burgundy leather and blue stitching. Yeah, isn't it great? I'm planning on running more electrical in the garage and probably also insulate the garage. Nice, nice. Um, yeah, so this is a leather that I ordered just because of the color, and I hadn't paid that close attention to the listing, or I did. No, I did read it because I was looking at the weight of the leather, and I knew it was going to be on the lighter side. But when it came, I was surprised by how thin it was and how flexible it was. So I said, like, typically, like, this isn't the feel that I would want for the journals that I make. Like, definitely could be done. I could totally see um, someone making journals with this just in one ply. But for me, it wasn't as substantial as I wanted to make it. So I wound up just as, you know, not having planned it, not being requested, um, I added these pocket panels just to double up the leather on the covers. And that added a lot of functionality. It added an opportunity for more stitching. The next one of the next two journals that I'm going to do is going to be laced instead of stitched, which is another technique that I'm working on learning for the first time. This could take a little bit of a trim up here. That's fine. All right, now I'm gonna pound down these stitches. What's the difference between lacing and stitching? Um, so stitching uses thread, lacing uses lace, and um, like you are kind of stitching with the lacing as well, in terms of like how the operation actually works. Where did I put this? I have a sample that I was practicing on. There it is. Okay. So the lacing that I'm doing, Ermagardesis. Hey Kat, welcome back. So here is an example of lacing. It's using this like eighth millimeter wide, or sorry, eighth inch, eighth inch wide leather lace, and it's thin. Babe, pause. Hey, welcome back. Um, and you can just do a running stitch with this lace, but a lot of lacing technique wraps over the edge. So there are places that you can stitch that you can't lace. Yes, it is thick. And I did another sample where I did an edge kind of like this and then rounded the corner. I don't have that handy, but you get a little bit more of a sense for the effect. This is just on one ply leather. When it's on two layers of this leather and you round a corner and all of that, it looks very, very, very nice. You know what's thick? That y'all are here. Aw. Yeah, my heart feels thick with joy as well, at all of your presence here on the stream. So glad we're all hanging out. So um, yeah, so this is lacing. Very good question, and I might have suggested lacing for this journal. I think that would have been stunning. The problem is that this journal has a cover flap to it. So that means that, oh, that's actually not the problem here. Right, okay. Okay, okay. Couple of things going on actually. I got myself turned around. So I'm doing another journal that is going to be laced. It's not going to have a cover flap. The problem here is that this pocket opens on this side. So I need to stitch past the spine. And I wouldn't be able to lace past the spine because there isn't an edge here for the lace to wrap around. And I want to do a continuous double loop lacing line that runs all around the perimeter of the cover. So what I'm doing instead, I'll pull out my work in process piece to show you now that I'm this far along in the explanation. So this one, both pockets are going to open toward the spine. So they'll be closed on the edge. And it doesn't have a cover flap. It just has this cover that opens up, and the like open ends of the pages are not going to be covered. That's fine. So when I do the lacing, if I take the cover flat and you can pretend the paper is in here, the lacing is going to, oops, the lacing is going to go all the way around the perimeter of the journal. So if I were to do that, the cover on this other journal, the cover flap would be in the way. Yeah, so can't really do a cover flap and lacing. I haven't done lacing on a journal before. I'm really, really excited to try it on this one. If the sample was any indication, I think it's going to be a really nice effect. That lacing is also going to be accompanied by another new aspect of my bookbinding, which is charm bookmarks. You might have seen these on Instagram. For this particular journal, I'm going for an aesthetic that I'm calling eclectic antiquity. And these aren't cooperating very well, but I've got like a Norse themed one, an Egyptian themed one, and a Greek themed one. Lacing as in actual lace, like leather lace, not like tatting. But yeah, leather lace. Yep. Those are charming. Where are we gonna put? Let's see. Hold on a sec. It's been roughly 500 years. How the hell have we been doing? Or was it maybe 600? Only 2 pockets? Where are we going to put the 500 pages of notes that are supposed to remind us where we put the important notes? That's a good question. I might need to do more pockets. Or gussets. I've definitely been thinking about gusseted pockets. That would be a really fun development. I could see doing both lacing and stitching on gusseted pockets, and that could be a really cool look. That would be a ton of work, though. Wow. Yeah, those are the typed ellipses and then the emote ellipses. I could hear the drum roll in there. More pockets than women's pants? Yeah. Yeah, so these, all these 3 charms are going to go into this book. I think these colors and the brown just work so well together. This ribbon looks blue on cam, but it's a nice, vibrant purple, which looks very nice with the brass, I think. The brass finish. So yeah, that's a little bit of the difference here between stitching and lacing, and why I'm not doing lacing on this journal, although I think that would have been I think it would have been stunning. The black on burgundy and the, like, all those stitches at that scale, and kind of that big, heavy visual border, and also like a tactile, textural border, as well as sort of more structure to the leather. I think it would have given it a little bit more structure. I'm really interested to see how the journal that I'm going to lace winds up feeling in the hand. Okay, so let's get this next one started. This is our last operation of this journal. A lot of this took form over the course of an 8-hour stream that I did 2 days ago. That was awesome. It was so much fun. It was very, very productive. And I was still recovering from that this morning. Okay, the tail I want at. Do I want the tail bottom or the top? Oh, this is going to be real floppy with the cover flap. 8 hours, that's incredible. Yeah, I didn't even plan on it. I just came out here and was like, I'm going to work on this journal. And just, yeah, 8 hours later, I was rating out. I don't really know what happened. Oh, I forgot to like give you the tour of this piece. Okay, so we're gonna do this pocket next, and then it'll be done. But let me show you. This is the Eurovision journal that I've been posting about. This is a custom carved piece that I did by hand. This lettering by hand. I printed and traced it according to a design that I created myself out of the Eurovision heart. How much is that lady expecting to write? She wants to write analysis of the entirety of Eurovision. Like Eurovision back to 1956. She wants to do analysis in here. Yeah, so those rivets are snaps. Those are the snaps that are the closure for the journal. And I have them inset into the red leather. You can see that the burgundy cover leather pulls away. The snaps are set in a little bit, which makes the cover, I like this a lot. Snaps can really add a thickness to them, and then there winds up being a gap between the cover flap and the front cover. Thank you. This thing belongs in a museum. Thank you very, very much. I have way leveled up my leather work over the past couple of pieces, and I'm going to continue to do that. Yes, the entirety. Oh, speak of the devil, once again. What is she going to analyze? The songs or the event or the audience? Or that is great questions for Anti-Sasquatch. Take it away. Please tell us a little bit about... I know it belongs with me. Yes, it does. Well, maybe you belong in a museum. Oh, we've got Babe Ross going Indiana Jones on us here. Okay, so custom carved panel with ESC for Eurovision Song Contest. The heart is the V that you usually see in the Eurovision branding. Yeah, I feel like I'm shouting too. I'm shouting over my my air filter though, which I hopefully is filtered out. I needed to filter my air filter out from my stream noise. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I'll be doing reviews of each of the shows. I'll be doing comparisons between songs done by the same countries or same people who entered more than once. The entries that get 0 points, the entries with the most controversy, etc. Nice. No! Here, you can have mine. Here, take a sippies. Sippies. Ready? Cat. I'm gonna waterfall you some energy. Okay. All right, there you go. Hey, Humbler John, welcome back. So custom carved panel. The I gave a lot of options, and I think we picked the perfect one together. Um, this is a tannery edge. So this, like, typically in a lot of leather work, this would be considered something to just trim away. And the creasing here that you might be able to see, let me see if I should get that closer. This creasing would be considered a defect. And clients that want a more polished aesthetic, I'm happy to work that way. For clients who really like the character of the leather, I love giving the leather the opportunity to to sort of present its own personality, tell its own story, that kind of thing. I really love the capacity that wood and leather have for doing just that. You don't like this flavor? Yeah, so that's apple kiwi. A little bit funky. It tastes like plastic. I came into contact with a local boudoir photographer, and she wants me to collab with her and paint her clients. Whoa! Congratulations on that! Holy crap! If you want to see a little bit of what Anti Sasquatch is talking about with painting people, namely herself so far, um, check out her stream. A lot of good stuff, fun gaming, crafts, just like a general really great vibe. Talk about music, all kinds of stuff. I think, yeah, definitely one of the best community builders that I've found on Twitch. A defect? Are they crazy? I mean, yes and no, right? Like, part of me says, why would you want to miss out? Why would you want to miss out on that, like, what the leather can do? On the other hand, I do understand and respect and even appreciate the aesthetic preference for a more polished result. The creasing is an amazing look and I love it. Yeah, so I love it too. I'm really glad we aligned that way. So we picked out this edge and then I was able to find a piece of black leather that would contour in a way that kind of fit. So that was a fun little scavenger hunt to do. Again, we've got these like gunmetal snaps, which does, I think, rivet is a great observation there. It does give kind of a riveted look that I really, really like. I also do a lot of decorative snaps. The plain one here, I love the riveted look of these. They do look like large cap rivets. So, let's take a look at the spine. So the spine is a variation on a long stitch binding. I started crossing the stitches over. So I stitch in two signatures at a time. I typically make these with 6 signatures for 240 pages and like 3 X's. This one we bumped up to 320 pages, 4 signatures. This is the thickest, heaviest journal that I've done so far, and I love it. I think with that weight, I think you're really going to appreciate the stiffness and the structure of this thick decorative panel, this patch. I think that really adds in sort of a way that might sound a little unintuitive. Like, I think this panel adds a lot of balance to the piece. Let me catch up with chat here. You mean like portraits or body painting? Good question, Daniel. Yep. She wants me to paint up her clients so she can photograph them. That's awesome. She's gonna need some heavy powered black lights for that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nature isn't perfect, and that's why it's beautiful. Exactly, exactly. I find a lot of beautiful that way. A cow died so I could have this journal. I'd never say any part of it was a defect. Yeah. I even do try to incorporate holes um, and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it does. I thought it was cosmetic, but the fact that it's functional is so cool. Yeah, I really love. I My approach is definitely led by function. But I think the like form over function, function over form, like treating that as a dichotomy is, I think that's a misstep. I think they always need to be treated as married. And it can work out in different balance points for like the emphasis. But for me, it's always like a I take a functional element and um, try to find ways to like integrate it so there's aesthetic harmony, or to like bring out some kind of aesthetic that is within the functional characteristics of the piece. Great idea with the cross stitches. Thank you very much. Yeah, especially once I got over 5 signatures. I used to make slimmer journals at 5, and it felt a little insubstantial to me. Even with the very heavy paper that I use, it felt insubstantial. So I bumped it up to 6 standardly. I've done one or two with 7 before. With the odd numbers of stitches, you can't do all the crisscross. And like having that many lines on the spine, it didn't look that great to me, especially at this scale. These get like really long, the spine's really big, and the thread is very slim, right? So having that many slim, long lines just wasn't really the look that I was going for. So I really do like the crisscross. I also feel like the crisscross, I think it winds up making the spine a little bit more sturdy. I'm not sure I have a great explanation for that, but I think it adds to the structure of the spine too. You're like that Will Ferrell character from Weekend Update. Speaking of painting, I have no idea what to paint myself as today, so I'm looking for ideas. Just make the signatures thicker. Yeah, the signatures, they're pretty thick, actually. With this heavy paper, it's 40-page signatures, which is 10 like pieces of paper folded over as 2 leaves each, if that makes sense. So I take a long piece of paper, I fold it over, I've got 2 leaves, each leaf is 2 pages, so that's 4 pages per piece of paper, which means 40 pages per signature. 6 signatures is typically 240 pages. Those signatures, I'm using 80-pound paper. So those signatures get pretty hefty. And the folds, like I have to do extra operations to like crush the paper down at that fold so they don't spring out wide. I need to like squish them so that they'll fold flat and not like balloon out. So it definitely wouldn't be, the solution is not thicker signatures. Yeah, it's a lot of C's with that 80-pound paper. My book is cake. It absolutely is. Make 10 junk journals, your normal signatures will feel ultra thin. Oh man. I bet. Yeah, junk journals, that's a whole other game. Um, okay, so yeah, binding. So we have the crisscross binding, we have the link stitch. What this means is that, first of all, there is a continuous stitch that runs down, it zigzags the entire spine. And this this stitch is how I move from signature to signature at the top and at the bottom. That makes it so I can do this continuously, and I don't need to do like an entire new thread setup for each signature. It also means that the entire spine is under tension instead of there being tension here and tension here and tension here and tension here. I think that